Can I pin myself? Mute, deafen, move. Focus on this person. Okay. Welcome everyone to our panelists, to our distinguished panelists, and welcome to the mentorship session / job session / how to get a cool job / how these guys got a cool job and everything in between. Okay. If you have any questions, you could either like unmute and do it in the middle, or we'll have like a questioning session at the end as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask whenever. So it's my first podcast, okay? So
is this a podcast?
Yeah, I'm gonna turn it into a podcast.
Okay. We're the first guests.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, thank you.
So this is, let's start with introductions. Tell us a bit about yourself, your favorite company,
what's your favorite company?
Where do you currently work? And we'll get into the specifics. So yes, let's start with you.
Hi, my name's Richard.
Loud. They cannot hear you. It's all the way there.
What's up? My name's Richard. I currently work for RBC, which is some bank in Canada. It's kind of small.
One of the biggest banks in Canada, highest market cap, right?
I do my banking there, so.
Yeah,
Probably.
me too.
I'm not with RBC.
I gotta cancel my bank account there, actually.
You work at RBC and you don't?
No.
That's crazy, dog.
They don't require you?
That's crazy,
No, they do
dog.
require me. They do require me, but
Okay.
I don't bank there.
By the way, you guys could hear us really well. Otherwise, let me know. I have another microphone and stuff. Right?
Can you speak? Can you hear?
Yeah.
There's no Twitch chat.
I have my audio on. Yes, sound is
Okay,
good.
awesome. Great.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, by the way. Like, I know this is last minute and everything, but thanks for coming. I have a notification on. Okay, but next, Victor.
Oh, yes. Hello. Hi. I'm Victor. I'm currently an undergraduate student here at the University of Toronto. My background's like kind of eclectic. I started off in bio, actually. I did a year of stem cell research at a hospital. But I'll be working in ML, most likely at the Vector Institute this summer. The research project isn't exactly confirmed. It's either something drug discovery or like medical data records, stuff like that. Yeah, that's me.
Wow. Let me introduce myself as well.
Okay.
I'm Alex. Alex, I go to U of T. I do physics here. Then like a bunch of other stuff. Physics, econ, I do everything that I like. My background, I did a gap year, I did a bunch of stuff, but we'll talk about it specifically. He's also Richard is from TMU. So
That's crazy,
just
bro.
to start. So, okay, let's start with Richard, okay? So, let's go back, okay? You came into... This is not a good thought. You came into university with into computer science. Okay, what are your abilities? How did that improve? How did you land your first job? And walk us through the whole story.
So, like, the entire process was just like, I didn't have any like prior experience to prior to university. I was just fresh out of high school. I did some co-op in high school that was just mostly like mentoring kids. That was related to robotics and mentoring kids. We just mentored about like Arduino stuff.
Like the
You should probably
FRC
talk a
thing?
bit louder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
So I was teaching kids about Arduino and just like the basics of robotics and circuits and stuff. And like these kids were like in elementary school, so like they're entering high school. So I did that during COVID actually, since everyone was at home.
So you had your programming skills in high school or grade 12?
Yeah, so like I was teaching these kids when I was in grade 12, and they're going to enter university. Or no, they're going to enter high school.
High school.
High school. So I was gonna graduate,
Okay.
and
You did FRC, then you came into university with the idea of doing CS. You started your CS that summer, or like the CS first year. How did that go?
first year, yeah, it was tough adjusting because coming out of like the COVID
Oh yeah.
things,
Was that 2022?
it was 2021. I entered university
yeah.
2021, and then like 2020 was like just COVID. I didn't have like good study habits and stuff, and I had to adjust pretty quickly.
Oh yeah.
So. And
Okay.
then after
Yeah.
first year, we can't do anything for co-op until second year.
Like official school co-op?
Official school co-op.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was just mainly like doing some lead code, preparing.
So in school, did you take like any specific courses that give you leak code skills or something?
At least for my school, not really. There's not that much courses that could really help you. Most of it came from self-studying and
Self-studying what?
self-studying just like in general, like what are your interests? If you want to do web development, study web development. If you want to do low-level stuff, study low-level stuff. There's a lot of good resources online that don't require money.
Yeah.
If you
What did
don't.
you do?
What did I do? Honestly, I don't know what the hell I did.
Just
'Cause
everything.
it was,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a while. Plus, I probably just watch tutorials and stuff. I forgot what resources I did, but there's a lot of good resources on GitHub. Just literally just Google, go on GitHub, and then you get a bunch of resources from there. You get a bunch of lists that you can just access for free.
My favorite, CS50.
CS50.
GitHub has the student thing where if you the student developer pack and you could sign up for Codex, which is like another platform. They wouldn't sponsor the hackathon, by the way. I didn't beg them, but I was like strongly advised them they should sponsor us.
Strongly advised.
But then they didn't do it. But those are really good, and the public library gives you access to LinkedIn Learning, Toronto Public Library. Yeah, I think you could get an account, by the way, even if you're from New Zealand.
Okay.
Free everything on LinkedIn.
Solid.
Yeah. Okay. So right after first year, you walked into your second year. Right after those skills, you gained those projects, right?
Second year was more of the same thing, except you actually had to start applying for jobs.
Okay.
And at least for my uni, it was you have to apply to 100 jobs. And
During second year?
yeah, every
crazy,
term
yeah.
it's like at least 100 applications.
Wow.
Jeez. And I think I did like 160.
160 for how many how many job you got? One job, right? How many offers did you get? That's the better question. Yeah.
How many offers? I got one.
100. Do the math. I don't know math, but I'm a math
I
major.
don't even know 160 companies, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
but I guess you applied for anything.
It was for like multiple roles.
Yeah, roles. Yeah,
And-
160 to odds is 1, right? And that's the math. I know Waterloo kids do they have bots doing 400 a day, and they're struggling.
If they're struggling,
Yeah,
like
Tough market.
yeah, tough market. What are the rest of us gonna do?
call it a day, I guess.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like it worked out. At first, it was a government job. I mean, that was the easiest to get in, because
okay. Let's go zoom into the government job. Okay, so you just normal application. No, or did you do any networking and things like that?
no, I didn't there weren't any networking stuff for the government. I almost worked for the federal, but provincial took me in, so I worked for the provincial and
Doing what?
doing web dev.
With the agency? With an agency in the government?
Yeah, it was a ministry.
Ministry of
Yes.
what?
Ministry of, I don't know what their name is now. It's
They
way
keep
too long.
changing it.
It's way too long
No.
now. Yeah.
No, okay. I get that.
Anyways, I didn't. There was not that much work involved.
Yeah.
It's a government, but I basically like looked for work, and
Yeah.
I found this project that they were working on, and it was pretty modern,
Oh.
modern front end and stuff like React, and I took that in.
Because I've heard traditionally, like governments just use like just old stuff.
Yeah, actually, we were using ASP.NET, like ASP.NVC,
I don't know.
which was it's basically C sharp.
Yeah.
It's React, but it's in C sharp, which is It's a horrible idea created by Microsoft.
Yeah, I guess they could do whatever and push
Yeah.
it on anybody.
So it was kind of annoying that I had to work with that as well, but working with React, because they had this random React project, that was pretty cool, and I was able to like gain experience that I could use towards my career at this easier job.
Okay, so you walked in first day, like okay, in context of like in general, did you do hackathons before that and do all that stuff?
No.
No, just
I
straight,
did zero hackathons
just
before.
straight coding classes or programming lessons and
Yeah.
into class or into
Into class.
work. And what was your first interview like?
My first interview was like, it was a behavioral,
Yeah,
and there were a bit of technical questions involved.
like leak coding or just I don't know because governments
not
could
coding,
do.
it was mostly like trivia,
Oh.
especially for like first year stuff, or like first jobs in general. Not sure about other industries, but at least for the government, you didn't really had to know that much about like super technical DSA, like algorithms, or like any design questions. It was mostly like, oh yeah, like what tools do you use? What like how would you approach implementing like this backend service?
And was it somebody experienced interviewing you or like somebody was?
It was like semi experience. So like they know like what their team is doing, but they don't have any hands on. They don't have much hands on like. So like they don't do programming themselves.
Yeah.
But they expect other people.
So PM.
Yeah, they're pretty much a PM. Yeah. And they just tell you what to do. Some of the people like my team lead. So my manager was pretty much my PM, but then my team lead was this like crazy guy that was like he knew everything going on, and I think if he left like
The company or the agency would collapse.
I don't think we spend way too much on Azure,
Oh.
so we'd just be like we'd be funding Microsoft for no
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah, once they're in there.
Funding
Yeah.
Microsoft.
Yeah, we love Microsoft.
Okay,
I hate Microsoft.
I like that. Okay,
Yeah.
now to you. I know
Okay.
you come from a different background.
Yes,
You're
sir.
not like traditional.
I'm not even Canadian, bro.
Yeah, no, New Zealandian.
Don't ever call me that.
What is
New Zealand.
What is
New
it?
Zealand.
That does not- that
We're
doesn't-
Kiwis. Like the bird.
Portuguese?
No, we are Kiwis. That's how.
Kiwis?
Yeah, Kiwis. You know, like Australians
Like-
are called Aussies.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're Kiwis.
Like the
Don't
fruit.
clown us.
The fruit?
Yes, sure, the fruit. More like the bird, but the
That's
fruit.
funny.
Sure,
The bird.
fruit works too.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what
Interesting,
bird is,
interesting.
but yeah.
Okay. But
Making
yeah.
up
Anyways,
names. Making up names.
Yeah, just make it.
What is it? What's going on down there?
honestly, bro, not much. That's why I'm here.
Okay, so you come from a bio background, okay?
Yes, sir.
Where did you develop this bio background?
When I was in New Zealand, like during the pandemic, I got super interested in aging research. I was like, hey, death is like not great. I should probably not die.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do aging research. I did the biology Olympiad, did surprisingly well at it, made it to the top 4 of the country, then went to the international event, and then won a silver medal. And I was like, oh wait, I can actually like do stuff, And then so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna stay in New Zealand anymore. I'm gonna go overseas. So I decided to come to Canada because immigration system much better than the U.S. Yeah, and then first year of university, basically just biology and CS. So I was admitted to the life sciences stream, but then I got in from out of stream for computer science. yeah, there was like whole process for that, but I made it in, and then I'm just wrapping up my second year. This is like after my first year, I went to a hospital to work on stem cell research.
Okay, this is where we want to zoom in. Okay.
Okay.
So you came in as an international student who paid
Yes, sir.
shit tons of money.
Yes, sir.
U of T.
We love that.
It's like a donation at this point.
It's like a forced donation.
it's
It's like a donation, but you're like held at gunpoint.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's called a donation.
But the thing is that I take advantage. I pay what, 8K while
Yeah,
he
you
pays
freeloader.
like yeah, he pays for all my stuff. He pays for this building while I sleep in the building. No.
Yeah, it's great, guys.
Yeah. So you came in. So okay, your intention was that I need to get a job, or were you gonna go back to New Zealand this summer?
Not really. I mean, I was like, I knew I wanted to do research after my first year. I emailed a bunch of labs. So these are like bio labs. This is like before I decided to like double down on CS. Back then,
Yeah.
CS was just like something of interest. But yeah, I emailed a bunch of labs. First round code emails, I sent about 8. One of them got back to me. And so I was gonna go to that lab, but then, so I was helping to host this symposium on aging biology, and then one of the professors was like a really big stem cell person. I think he's like the 15th most cited stem cell biologist in the world. I listened to him speak, I was like, oh wait, this guy's really cool. So after his talk, I just went up to him. I was like, hey, I love this stuff you were talking about. Can I just go like work in your lab for the summer? Super chill guy. So he allowed
Chill
me
like that. He was like, hey, can I just come work?
Exactly.
Word for word, you were like, "Can I just work at your lab, or do you have
it
any
was a little bit more.
opportunities?"
It was a little bit more polished than that, mostly
Yeah.
because like, I also knew one of his grad students, and so I had the grad student ask for me, and so he's a big guy. He spends all his time like writing grants, answering emails, very hands off, just because like his time's like really valuable. So he was just like, okay, if the grad student is willing to take you, go for it. Mainly because like I know for a fact his lab has like taken in high school students before even, so like they're pretty open to that. Yeah. So yeah, that was bio.
So okay, you came in with the bio lab. You send out like a bunch of emails, cold
Yeah.
emails.
Much
but,
less than this guy.
Yeah.
160.
But then
is
labs are
insane.
much easier because they have all that money. Like it seems like I did a research. I did like a summer research,
Right.
but then. Like it seems like the labs or working in research is so much easier for undergrads as their first job because like you're not competing with the free market. This is like you're locked in this weird environment where they much prefer hiring your kids or like their university kids. So like doing anything for them is so much easier and less competitive.
Yeah, that's generally true.
Yeah.
I mean, he emailed like 20 times
Yeah.
as many people as I did.
Yeah, and it was even, I'll share my experience as well. So okay, bio, you came in with, you knew all this bio stuff. You came in, you were able to contribute to the research, or like
Yeah.
what was your experience just doing the research?
It was mostly wet lab research. What I did was like I fed a lot of cells. I did transfection. So basically, like what we did is like we take normal body cells, we turn them into stem cells. Whole process takes like 20 days, and you can't like it's like a serial time process. Like takes 2 hours.
What do you
every
do
day.
in between?
We like do some data analysis, plan next experiments, etc., etc. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you can't really rush biology. You can't like if it's 20 hours, but it has to be split over 10 days. You can't just do like 20 hours in one day.
The only bio word I know is biopsy, stabbing cows.
Solid,
Yeah, it's a good one.
solid.
Yeah, so, okay, you got that, okay.
Okay.
Now, okay, you got your first job, then we'll talk about the pivot, but come back to you. But let me share my experience, just doing like, I was like, okay, I came in, I took a gap year, I did a stable diffusion stuff. I did like a bunch of AI stuff. I was like, right after high school, some friend of mine, I became a Canadian gap year fellow. And they paid me to go to India and like check out the startup scene there. I've always been interested. I used to do all this crypto stuff. I used to do all this random things, right? But never like led to anything. It wasn't like whatever.
Just trying things out.
Just trying things out. Then she paid me to go to India, check out the startup scene there. I came back. I was like, okay, I want to join U of T. I had the plan of going to school, ideally, but I wanted to go to a good school. So I was like, okay, I gotta get into U of T. Somehow got in here, but then I they didn't get me into physics. I was like pretty salty about, or into eng, so I was like salty about that. Then I was like, oh, first year, I want to show some proof if I did something in my gap year. I don't want to be like a loser and get my job third year, right? Now, I was like, okay, I got to show that I'm like, I could do something. So I was like, first year, right after first year, I realized, okay, nobody in Toronto is going to hire me because I have no like pure skills that I could bring to them. I can't program like a genie. I can't like do business development like a master. I did a bunch of marketing stuff, but then every Gen Z kid gets hired as a marketing kid, and I don't want to be a TikTok F-boy for my life. I'll come to my phase. There's going to be a phase of mine, but
Depends on how bad the market gets.
yeah, it depends on the market. Honestly, if it's all
It's
going,
getting there. It's getting there.
yeah, it's getting there at this point. But I was like, okay, I got to figure it out. So I realized that universities are much easier. Then I emailed a bunch of people here. Turns out everybody at U of T is like try-harding from December. They got like the people what I wanted to do, like the labs I wanted to work at, they hired people in December. So I was like, I got to find somewhere else. So I started applying internationally. I got into like a research program in Israel. So like I went there last summer. Really good. I did decision theory there.
Oh, like algorithmic decision.
Yeah, algorithmic. It was like a lot of math and proofs. But the only problem is, right? I'm like, I have no clue the math. I think I don't know why I got in, or like why the professor liked me or like put me in. Maybe because my major was math and physics, and that's the only thing. And I come from U of T, thought I was like smart. But then when I got there, like the first like 2 weeks, I was just sitting there in this room, just trying to like figure out how to do this math. It was so challenging. I didn't even finish like calculus 1 before I went there, because
Oh, yikes.
no, actually I did finish calculus 1. I didn't do calculus 2. Right? I only did some random CS courses and 1 physics and 1 calc. That's pretty much it. I didn't do any other courses. I went there. I had to do like pretty much like proofs and all that stuff. So I was on Khan Academy trying to learn it. So my thing is that if you're applying to a job, or especially research stuff, at least like really understand if it's like a cool research. Not cool if it's like something you could bring value to. Like a lot of my friends there did research in like mech labs where he could just do CAD. You could do CAD. You could figure out the software easy, but it's not the same as like reading some guys, reading like a paper this professor's been working on for 30 years and trying to like bring value to. He's like, recreate this paper for this industry. I don't know where to start, right? And that's the only problem. Okay, so coming back to you, okay? Right, you got your first job. You finished your first job. Tell me about the end of your first job. How did performance, how was your experience like finishing that job in terms of, did you see significant increases in your skills, knowing how to like work actually?
For me, yeah. I learned a lot more about stuff I probably wouldn't have interest doing myself.
Yeah.
So having this job really forces me to just like learn like enterprise tools that they use. So it was mostly Azure, and it was things that I'm not gonna use Azure personally, right?
But then you could add that as a skill set that you would have never added, right?
Yeah, so that was beneficial for me. But towards the end of it, yeah, I did learn a bit more than what I came in with. But I wouldn't say I learned like as much as I wanted to. It was definitely a lot slower than I thought, and I'm like, damn, I don't want to come back to this place.
Right after second year, okay. Now you got your first job.
Mm-hmm.
That third year, you increased your skills at school. But then, how did you think about like your next year's summer, or like internship and jobs?
It was, what did I do? So like I kept applying, right? And I gave up applying on after that job, I gave up applying on my school's portal because it was mostly like lower end stuff, and it was mostly government stuff because that's what our school hasn't touched with. It was mostly like government or some of our like incubated startups that I don't know how long they'll last usually.
Yeah.
And I don't know how interesting the work is because they're mostly not in tech.
They're in other industries.
Yeah, they're in other industries. So I like, and their websites are pretty like barren.
Okay.
Sometimes I think they're probably dead. I don't know why they're still hiring. But yeah, I started applying also on GitHub. I swear, GitHub is everything. So like there was
What's the repo?
It was like 2025 Canadian internships.
2025 Canadian internships.
Summer. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Just mass applied to.
yeah, I just went through all of them and just applied to them. It wasn't that much. There wasn't that much companies as there were on our school's job portal. So at least that was a bit better.
Yeah.
But also like these are like postings that would be open to everyone. So not just exclusive to your school.
Yeah.
It would be open to literally anyone from any other school. So
But then it's like you have less competitiveness in some ways because it's like more diverse of different skill
Yeah,
sets and
different
all
skills,
different
yeah.
schools. Where if like you brought up the thing the other day about target schools. That's a massive thing in so many companies. Okay, you want to explain that?
yeah, so at least from what I know, Shopify here mostly hires Waterloo kids. They got like a
Toby.
special portal. Like they were losing Waterloo kids, and what I've heard from these people who work at Shopify was that they had a special like internal website specifically for hiring just people from Waterloo, and they were trying to get the percentage up from like 40% Waterloo kids. I'm just like, well, if they're hiring Waterloo kids, like
How do you compete for the rest, like 60% where everybody else competes?
yeah. Especially if they're trying to bring that percentage up.
Yeah.
But I'm not entirely sure if that number is accurate. But from what I've heard internally from other people, it was.
I could see that. Like some schools, like some companies just build a culture that is similar to like what schools produce, and we could see that. Like Waterloo
really
kids
is a
are a
culture.
specific style of doing things, and you conform to that, and you're like, okay, these are the type of kids I want. And it seems like it's like a numbers game. If the Toby guy or whatever the hiring manager sees 30 kids from Waterloo come in and they're a really good fit for the company and they could do good work, they're not going to hire no U of T, Team U kids. Right?
Yeah, well, because Waterloo has a giant track record of just startups
Yeah.
coming in and out. So, like Waterloo really is the incubator or they're known as the incubator for like just startups and like kickstarting all these big companies.
Yeah, high intensity people. I think a lot of them like.
Yeah, high intensity and high ego.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, the signaling on Twitter, like. Okay. Not that I don't like it. It's good. I love Waterloo. I have many friends at Waterloo, but.
I'm going to symposium.
Yeah, me too. I'm going.
Excited for
It's a
that.
pilgrimage for all tech bros to go there and like praise the gods.
Praise the God, kiss the Buddha's feet.
Yeah.
The Buddhist feed is just the VCs.
Yeah, the VCs who come to the VCs, they have like, it's pretty legit. They have the high key Waterloo gurus, like actual Waterloo gurus, like who come to the Stanford kids. Some kid from Singapore is coming for
That's crazy.
flying in for. Yeah, Waterloo is something special that we have in Canada, but I don't know if the world should be exclusive to them. Okay, so Victor, okay, right after your first. You're still working at the healthcare place, or are you?
I'm still working at the hospital, but like my contract ends before this summer, and then after this summer, I'll be doing ML research.
Okay. Tell us, how did you find that ML research, or how did you go about? Okay, this is what specifically I wanted. You got 2 offers, you said, right? So,
Yeah.
what's your second offer incoming? But like, how did you go about scouting them? Was it like a circled attack, or you knew you wanted this, or it was just you mass everywhere?
My second one was a lot more targeted. So already had a friend inside Vector who connected me to one of the profs. He was like, "Oh, okay, um, like this prof is great. You should go work for them. He has some projects that he can probably give to you for the summer." So that's the first one. The second one was someone that I contacted individually. So this actually goes back again to the symposium that I was hosting. So this is the second year round. This is the second symposium. One of the speakers, again, he was a very new researcher here at Vector, and he worked on AI stuff, drug discovery, aging. And so I was like, oh, I'm already involved in aging. And I've like done a lot of coursework outside of school for AI. So I was like, okay, this would be like a perfect segue into the AI world.
So it lined up.
It lined up. Yeah, so I reached out to him, super nice guy, super chill. Yeah, so that's the second offer.
Healthcare. So I know you're making the transition from like healthcare, bio to a bit more of AI stuff and maybe a full transition into that. Like, it's intentional of a transition.
Yep.
And the job, I guess, makes it much, much easier for you, right?
Probably, yeah. I mean, I think the hardest thing is always just the first step, right? Like, because after the first step, you can have you have stuff on your resume, you have stuff on your GitHub. For me, like, I learned CS via CS50 myself before coming to uni, but like I didn't do any projects. And CS has always been a side thing for me. Like, I did well in the classes, made it in from out of stream, but I never really focused on it. Like, you have people from like who just graduated high school with like just carpet green GitHub, 30 projects, whatever. And so that just wasn't me. But like, I knew ML like relatively well. Like, I knew ML from like simple like multi-layer perceptrons all the way up to transformers. You can just self-study that via a course. You can learn at least up to that level pretty well. AI tools really help with that. So yeah, like getting this first offer is going to help significantly down the road. It also helps you get to know people who are like working in the space.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Very exciting. Any
Yes, sir.
I know you guys gotta leave. Any last like pieces of advice in terms of what? It's always the first step is always the hardest.
Yep.
Going from a nobody to having some experience to be able to bring value to a company, bring value to research, or bring value to something, is what makes like something important, right? Or to get a job, essentially. So what's your advice on like a lot of people who like over 170 people on our Discord who are like taking their first step? Like how should they view, or like what lens should they view their next few months, years? Yeah. Education in general, because we have a bunch of backgrounds, right?
Right. So like always the first job is really, it is tough because even I know people, my friends, a lot of my friends, even though they're in CS, they really just, it's really tough for them to get jobs still.
Yeah.
Either, you could blame their work, you can blame like everything about them, but
It's just a bad market.
The market is bad.
Like the market doesn't help.
Yeah.
The market right now definitely doesn't help.
Even if the market was good, I still know thousands of people just, like at least I know tens of people who still don't get jobs. There's something there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like, I think we're very much like reaching I don't think this is like a sign of like CS like crashing and burning or anything. This is just CS becoming a normal thing. Cause like 2019, you could be like a self-taught coder, no experience, get a 200K job at Google. That bubble was never gonna last.
Yeah.
Like we think about it as like, oh, that's the good old days. That was never supposed to have been normal.
Yeah.
So like this is just normal. This isn't like particularly bad. This is just like CS becoming the same as every other major. It's not like a magic like one-way ticket to Silicon Valley with like generational wealth anymore.
Yeah.
It's just how the world.
I think like the CS that people are like thinking about is like the CS back in like 2010 or something.
Yeah.
Because that's when CS is just starting to like.
It's when people were just
the hockey stick growth, right? Where people are like, okay, this is a way to make money.
And then so many people get in, and now you can consider it oversaturated,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But really, it's just become like, you know,
And
a
tons
normal
of people
job.
are still pouring in. I mean, okay, even me, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm second year. I haven't even graduated yet. I'm still in CS.
Yeah.
And, like I know what job mark like awaits me at the end, but like
But that shouldn't stop people from going into the market. There's so much opportunity out there, but then you have to take another like step of like developing real skills, like how Victor has like the bio skills, which he could pair with the not like traditional CS ML
'Cause
sort of thing.
That is a very unique case that Victor
Yeah.
has here.
It's an advantage.
It is
Massive
yeah.
advantage.
It is a massive advantage, and it's a great interview talking point as well.
Yeah.
For me, I'm just a normal guy, right? Like the first step to take is to build out your resume. Really, build out your resume and set something on your like put something on your resume that you think is unique
To
right?
you.
To you, not necessarily to like maybe other people. That may make you unique to other people.
Yeah.
That'll make you stand out, right? So pick something that you're interested in. Doesn't matter what. If you're lost, like it might sound
Explore
cliche.
different things.
Yeah, it might sound cliche, but Discord bots, like
Yeah. Everybody.
they're not bad.
Yeah.
Discord bots aren't bad. I had one, and I learned web scraping.
Yeah.
So people make Discord bots. They do whatever.
There's like the GitHub where you could just search up projects to do in ML, projects to do. Just F1 has all their data free, open source.
oh yeah, a piece of advice for gaining like okay, so like I've been doing a bunch of ML projects as of late. If you're gonna do it like in Cursor, turn off the Copilot.
Yes.
Because I swear, like I will write like one line
And it knows
just
everything.
auto completes the
Everything.
entire project for me, which is great.
Yes.
If I wasn't trying to learn stuff.
Yeah, if I was a senior dev,
Yeah.
just trying to like get through my life.
Yeah, it's like a bit existential crisis
Yeah.
inducing, but like if you're trying to learn stuff, just turn that off. Like
using Cursor without Cursor.
Yeah.
Use-
If you need
yeah,
help, you
which
could
is
ask
VS Code.
AI. You could
Yeah.
ask AI for help, but then it shouldn't be like
actually do the stuff you're
yeah,
trying to do.
do the
Yeah.
stuff. You know what I mean?
If you do
Yeah.
ask AI, at least know what it's doing. Don't
Yeah.
blindly just like
Follow it.
At least be able to like supervise it. That's like the
Yeah.
bare minimum.
Bare minimum. But then the thing is, right? Okay, let's say you're given an empty. This is the worst thing, but also a good thing about like U of T or whatever, how they teach you CS. You write on a blank piece of paper.
Oh, yeah.
With your bare hands.
Yeah, with
Code.
a pencil.
And like my first year, I've been programming for years, and like my first year, my midterm, I barely passed because I forgot syntax, I forgot this, that for Python, and it was like a basic program. I just can't believe it, but that's just,
Yeah.
it's a good way to learn. The second,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, okay, I think we covered most points here. My only thing to add is literally just, okay, this is kind of complementary to my first point, which is like, don't be over reliant on AI tools to actually know what you're doing, but also learn to use AI tools.
yeah,
You're like, we're rapidly reaching a stage where implementation ability is gonna be like basically worthless. Like, you need to start like if your sort of whole value proposition is like, hey, I'm a guy who knows how computers work. I can make stuff. I can make software. You hire me. I make stuff for you. That business model is just like gone. Like being able to make stuff in software is gonna like that's gonna like evaporate more and more as AI gets better and better. Like I know people who's never coded before in their lives making entire web apps
yeah.
using just like Cursor.
Who's that kid who created the fat calorie app? Created like millions
There's
of
like
dollars.
tons
Yeah.
of people that are just like
They exist, and you don't need to know how to code.
yeah. So like broader implications is like try to be more entrepreneurial. Don't just look to like get employed. Be more confident in terms of like, here's an idea I want to build out. You have the tools. You have
Build it.
like you have AI agents at your disposal. Build it out. Be more of like an idea guy rather than like an engineer.
A lot of it's gonna be like, okay, now that AI, you could tell agents to do things, which the human brings a higher order thinking value, where it's like,
Yeah.
okay, you could tell AI to do something, but it can't really reason. Okay, there's reasoning models, but you can't
Yeah.
reason at a higher first, second, third order, right?
Yeah, like if your skill set is in paving roads, you're no longer valuable. The valuable part is in knowing where to pave roads. to.
Yeah. where to pave roads, how to bring all those data together and like sort of put these tools together and create something of value.
Yeah. Also, huge disclaimer, I'm 20 years old. I am not a guru by any chance. Take everything with a grain of salt.
We have no clue what we're
Yeah, we don't know what we're doing. We're not professionals.
trying to like,
Yeah, we're trying to help.
yeah. But I think first job is the most hardest. It's also like 0 to 1, like the Peter Thiel thing. It's like it's the hardest, but it's also like it's after it seems like it's nothing, but like in relativity. But then like in a lot of ways, just the person struggling for their first job or their first like thing is the hardest. So that's pretty much it for us, right? Any other final?
All good for me.
I'm good, yeah.
Yeah. So any questions the audience has for us today?
What's left of the audience?
Yeah. We had a peak of 7 people.
Let's go. We're killing it, gang.
Yeah. Any questions?
Any questions?
Jobs, mentorship, projects you want to run us by, your project ideas. Okay, what's the okay. What's the biggest issue / the hardest part of work? Like
Finding motivation.
My problem is like I hate
Depends
some of
on
these
everyone.
companies and what they do. So I'm not gonna like put shit on a company. A mergers and acquisition company reached out to me. We think you're a perfect candidate. I was like, oh, I'll do an interview. They think I'm good, but like, it's not something I care about. I don't want to work for them. Unless if money was the factor, I would be like, okay, I want money. But then you're 20. I don't. My parents pay for my food. So what else matters?
Yeah, this is what I mean by motivation. Okay, it's a very like first world problem to have, and you know what, we're like basically in the first world. Like for me, it's like if I believe in what I'm doing, I don't get tired doing it. Which was like the first half of my STEM cell internship. It was great because I was still really interested in bio at that point. Later half was like a lot more. It's like I wanted to pivot to ML.
Yeah.
So whenever I'm like at night pipetting between plates, I'm like, oh man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's basically it. That was the hardest part for me.
So like your motivation came from
Like the belief that I was doing something that I cared about.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. Like I wanted to cure aging, but now I'm just like, okay, I think AI is gonna cure aging, so I should like work on AI.
Fundamentally, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess like for about work, right? Is it about my job or is it
Your job or like generally the hardest part about just working in general? Or
just like doing any work.
issue at work, yeah.
Or any issue at work. It's mainly I'd also say like motivation. I mean that's a very good like.
How do these people motivate you? If your managers and your people, does it work? Should it be changed?
I mean, I haven't really worked under a manager, so to speak, because I work under a grad student. I'm like best friends with a grad student, so it was never like very managerial. It's just like, hey, can you feed the cells for me over the weekend?
If it's like a hierarchical thing, some people have no like sense of like self agency in terms of like, okay, I want to do this, I'm motivated to do it, unless somebody at the top tells me to do something.
Yeah. So like motivation for me really just comes from money.
Yeah.
It's just money.
But even if it's money, what would motivate you to do your best work then rather than mediocre work?
I guess I mainly have like higher standards for myself. So I look at the older code that I get, and I'm just like, damn, this kind of sucks.
Just between yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the sense you got to develop to like I guess manager or whoever to see it. Oh, this guy does exceptional work.
Except I don't think my manager ever sees it. He's just like, oh yeah, I complete it, and I just tell him, right?
Yeah, no.
But then, and he sees that it works. But for me, I'm just like, if something's not fully like complete and something's left further for someone else to do, I don't feel comfortable with that. So I'm just like, well, I'm at an internship, I might as well make the most of it. Okay. And hopefully, like, I do my best work, and then whoever looks over it in the future, maybe when I'm gone, that's kind of like
You're
more of it.
continuously building a portfolio.
Yeah.
For yourself.
I know people who were like the first internship, they were just super motivated for their return offer.
Mm-hmm.
Only the
Many such cases.
many such because they
In
would.
this
That's how they
market-
bribe you. That's how they bribe you. Because Amazon's like, hey, you want to do full time? You want to work with me next month? Do best work.
Mm-hmm.
We'll give you a return offer. But then they just even
market,
if
baby.
they had the idea of just dropping it, like them after, they would just swing the carrot in front of their eyes. One question: how much AI is being used in the workplace right now? So bank, you would know.
Bank, yes, I would know. At least for ours, we have like, I mean, it's already public information. So like
Spill the juice.
RBC has Borealis, which is their AI incubated startup. They absorbed it.
Is this a chatbot or something?
No, they're just like.
I thought it was a program. Like,
Is it
No,
like
it's a
infrastructure?
company, it's a company.
Internal
It's a company.
infrastructure?
It was an internal company.
Okay.
They do anything really. I think one of the things they do is modernizing code with LLMs and
Oh.
agents. So there's a lot of like legacy code.
I think that's
in-
Rahul.
sorry.
I think that's Vector.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of legacy code in banks. We gotta update it. No one has time to find out like what like all these
Old
cobalt.
Rust.
It's cobalt.
Yeah, Cobalt. Oh yes,
It's cobalt.
yes, Cobalt. It's Cobalt. It's
Yeah.
I thought it's
So-
Cobalt without a T.
It's cobalt without a T.
really.
Yeah, COBOL.
Cobalt is a
Cobalt.
Cobalt with a T is a metal.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we got a bunch of that, and I thought like my team was pretty traditional in terms of not touching AI, but I think everything has to be injected with AI now.
But do you? What is it? Can you ask a public AI for help on your code bases or
We have Copilot. You can use Copilot.
internal Copilot?
It is a enterprise Copilot,
Yeah.
so it's vetted by the company, and we use their services from Microsoft. But try not to use it as much. I use it when I'm like just stuck. I'm just like, well,
But it doesn't have context, right? Or do you have the GitHub Copilot?
it does have GitHub. Yeah,
Oh.
we do have GitHub Copilot because it's internally RBC uses an internal GitHub
Okay.
hosted by our own servers. So
I like
that's how
that.
it works.
How about in research?
Reading papers.
Oh, yeah.
Perplexity.
Oh.
God bless Perplexity.
Everybody here, Perplexity, we have an offer for you. Go to the resources page, download Perplexity right now. It's free for everybody at the hackathon.
Hashtag ad.
Hashtag ad,
Hashtag
sponsored,
definitely funded.
government
Yeah.
funded, Perplexity
Yeah.
funded.
Yeah, but like no COI from me. Perplexity is great for research. Paste in a paper, ask it questions, much better than ChatGPT.
Yeah.
ChatGPT like
Context window is higher.
also ChatGPT just gives a lot longer answer.
Yeah.
Perplexity is much more concise, gives you better answers. That's
And you
my
could ask all the
experience.
other models.
Yeah, I
Just
mean
in
you can compare yourself. It's
Yeah.
just better for research.
Yeah.
That's Perplexity.
Dude, I wish I could use Perplexity over it because we block out all the other. AI
This is sounding so
services.
funded
Don't
right
worry,
now.
buddy. I will talk to your manager. We'll give you free Perplexity for a month.
A month. Oh my
Oh
god.
my god.
I only need like what 6 more.
And a domain for
And a
xyz.com domains for
Wow.
your domain needs.
Have you considered
Say
just
it to the
going to
camera.
like marketing instead of CS, bro?
I should just stop and
Just pivot.
do
Just pivot
TikTok.
and go to marketing, bro. Honestly. But
How about
yeah, Perplexity is great for research. ML, I mean, ML is just code writing. I try not to rely on AI because I'm actually trying to figure out like, okay, here's like how you actually implement the models. But if you know how to implement models, like I said, you can write like 3 lines. It generates the rest.
Everything.
It's very existential crisis inducing how useful it is, but to the degree which you use it, entirely up to you, entirely up to like how much you want. I
It's
don't
too
really,
good. Like cursor, holy. Like it's like
Oh,
a drug that you're drinking and you
just
can't
keep
get rid of
tapping
it.
tab.
Yeah,
You're like,
tabbing.
oh my god.
The ad is right, but then like the thing is like you're useless. You can't bring value.
I'm just watching this like giant pile of matrix
Yeah.
multiplication
At one
write
point,
my code for me.
you don't know your code. There's like the relationship you have with your code.
Yeah. At some point, I'm just like, explain my code back to me.
Yeah, because I guess it's all through your brain. When you're actually writing the code, you have some like all these vectors of like what you did and how it all connects. Or
Like you have a
ideas.
higher level overviews.
Yeah.
Like you went through the thinking process yourself.
And you're letting that go to your AI.
With AI, it's like even if you understand the code, it's kind of like you know like the anecdote where it's like writing something when you're taking notes is like 7 times as effective as reading notes.
Yeah.
So it's like even if you read the AI generated code and you understand
It doesn't mean anything.
it's not the same as if you came up with the code yourself.
Okay, one question. Was your first time interviewing more informative compared to your self-study?
My first time what?
Interviewing for your
First time.
yeah.
Oh, I just
Internship, sorry, first internship.
Oh, really?
More informative than self-study. That could be
I think
taken.
they teach you different things.
Yeah.
It'll teach you like what companies use or how companies use.
The real world, because it seems like it's so much different than like what schools teach you, first of all. Then also what.
Also, this is probably my last question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think you honestly just need both. Like for example, I don't know, like CS they require like algorithms courses, which like is basically just like lead coding, and everyone just rants about like lead coding being like useless or whatever, right? It's like it's never what you implement or et cetera, but it's like you just gotta know it.
Yeah.
For interviews, yeah.
For interviews or just like
That's
That's
the
how they
standard.
operate
That's how
right
they
now.
work. It's like
Yeah.
you can't fix that, right?
yeah. So like education, it lays the foundations. Like for example, if you're trying, you will never become a good software engineer by focusing on like the syntax of Python or like here's how a computer architecture works, how digital logic is implemented.
Algorithms.
You're never gonna like. It's very unlikely that I don't know. You're gonna be like in Amazon trying to make a RAM using logic gates.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
like school really just prepares you to go into research as a graduate.
Yeah,
program.
in many ways.
Yeah.
Not really towards like a
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. I would not be very cynical about school because I do job, but like it's like how computers work,
It's good to know.
right?
And also, like, I think it gives you a better understanding of what you're doing if you're
Yep.
like, oh, you're just a code monkey or like,
Yeah, because like how do we teach sand how to think
Yeah.
and compute things, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's basically
Pretty much it.
All
Thank
right.
you. Any final questions? No, I don't think so. But
All right.
thank you so much to. Oh, he lost his question. Don't worry. We'll just text it to me and I'll ask them. Thank you so much to our panelists. You for coming out loud, or coming to as an audience. Both of you for taking your time, starting late, and sitting over all these things to inspire the generation.
I love the next generation.
Thank you. Okay.
Happy to
Have
be
a great day, guys.
Peace.
Bye bye.